This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 9th day of September in the year 2019. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The Attorney General and the attorney for the opposition will have to return to court at the end of this month to put forward their oral arguments in the latest case about the no-confidence motion brought against the government of Guyana. The opposition, through its attorney Anil Nandlal, wants the court to order that the president and cabinet be resigned in keeping with the passage of the no-confidence motion. Mr. Nandlal told reporters that he wants definitive orders from the court this time around.
Firstly, we are asking for a declaration that cabinet was resigned on the passage of the no confidence motion in December 2018. Alternatively, we are asking for an order that cabinet be resigned because the Chief Justice had ruled that they were resigned by operation of law. Well, we are asking for an order directing them to give effect to that resignation. And thirdly, we are asking for an order restraining cabinet from meeting because they are disbanded and they are no longer in existence.
Where it is necessary, absolutely necessary.
It's unfortunate that we have to resort to this kind of strenuous efforts in the court to get a government to obey the clear language of the Constitution.
But Attorney General Senior Counsel Basil Williams is of the view that the opposition is once again trying to engage the court on an issue that the court has already addressed. He said even the Caribbean Court of Justice made it clear that the government remains in place in an interim form.
Mr. Nandlal is fast becoming a vexatious litigant. What has he done? He's come today. For the last 9 months, I'm hearing the same arguments. The cabinet and president must resign. This learned Chief Justice dealt with that issue. It went to the CCJ. The CCJ rejected it, clearly said that the government remains in a different mode, an interim government and all that. So it's a waste of the court's time, the court's resources, to be relitigating the same issue that the highest court is a disrespect for the CCJ too. You know, and Mr. Nandlal and his party, they have always disrespected the CCJ.
The Attorney General believes the court should throw out the Nandlal case altogether. More news coming up in just a moment.
Hello, baby. Yeah.
Knocked away from Young Huang.
Yo, why you gotta get away from the credit, buddy? I recommend that you for blah blah. Let me watch the game, but it's not you that buy back the credit when it's done. Buy back like a shit money for five.
Activate the GTT Fab 5 plan today. For only 5,005, you get free unlimited calls to 4 of your closest family and friends, 5 gigs of data plus 250 text messages, and your Fab 5 friends can call you for free. GTT Fab 5.
Wait. So who we putting as we Fab 5?
Yes.
Experience bliss in an exclusive atmosphere as Universe boss Chris Gayle celebrates his 40th birthday in Guyana.
Batman out and stunting. Chris Gayle Kyle take like dumpling.
40 Shades of Gayle, featuring Kes the Band live and in concert.
If you're coming down from the mountain, oh God,
At the Arthur Chung Conference Center on Saturday, 5th October.
right now my vibes up, I'm getting on. It's no regrets if tomorrow never comes.
Early bird tickets, $3,000. General, $4,000. Stage front, $10,000. 40 Shades of Gayle. Party with the Universe boss, Chris Gayle, and a star-studded cast of international cricketers. 40 Shades of Gayle, featuring Kes the Band live and in concert at the Arthur Chung Conference Center on Saturday, 5th October.
All across our nation, Guyana, we see it in your lives. The future growing even stronger. GBTI, all eyes on Guyana skies as the voices of our people rise again. GBTI, Guyana's pride is in your eyes. GBTI, we see Guyana
Welcome back. The Guyana Civil Defense Commission is working along with other groups to gather information on Guyanese nationals who have survived Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas and want to return home. Reports surfaced over the weekend that there are Guyanese nationals who may be seeking the Guyana government's help to have them flown home to Guyana. This afternoon, the head of the CDC, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, explained to news source that the Commission is aware of the reports and is following up on them. He further explained that at the moment only humanitarian aircraft are being allowed in the hurricane-ravaged islands, and there are severe challenges with the situation on the ground. The CDC head said Guyana continues to work closely with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA. Craig said it is important for Guyanese to continue offering financial support through the CDC to assist victims of the hurricane. Meanwhile, the Guyana Bahamas Association in the Bahamas has indicated that it has been working to communicate and compile an authentic list of Guyanese who have been affected or evacuated from the Abaco and Grand Bahama Islands. The group will host an emergency meeting tomorrow in Nassau to address issues related to the Guyanese victims of Hurricane Dorian. The government of Guyana has already indicated its full backing to the regional effort. A number of government ministers, along with the First Lady and the head of the Department of Energy, toured Guyana's first oil production vessel, the Liza Destiny, today. The First Lady is the godmother of the vessel. The Liza Destiny arrived in Guyana just over a week ago, ahead of schedule and fast-tracking Guyana's preparedness for the oil and gas sector. Oil production is on schedule to begin next year. The vessel is a significant component of the Liza Phase 1 development, which involves 4 on-the-sea drill centers with 17 production wells. It has a production capacity of 120,000 barrels of oil per day and an overall storage volume of 1.6 million barrels. While this evening, the Guyana Post Office Corporation has issued a warning about a scam on social media that is using the corporation's name. In a statement, the GPOC said it does not have any promotion on any social media site and would not request any sort of payment through any social media. Some persons have complained about receiving messages from a fake post office page asking them to pay money via phone credit and mobile money in order to claim a prize. The Post Office Corporation has made it clear that it will not accept any responsibility for the payment of any money to a competition that the Post Office knows nothing about. Some persons have also complained about receiving phone calls. The Post Office is also warning against those and intends to file a complaint to the police for further and more detailed investigations. Just last week, the Ministry of Health uncovered a similar scheme that was using the name of the Public Health Minister. Just last week, the Ministry of Health uncovered a similar scheme that was using the name of the Public Health Minister. The Guyana Elections Commission will meet again tomorrow to further discuss preparations and timelines for early elections. At last Friday's meeting, the Secretariat of the Elections Commission proposed a number of timelines for elections, with the possibility of March 2020 being the earliest time by which elections could be held. The governing coalition has not said anything about the proposed timeline, but the opposition has already made it clear that such a timeline cannot be accepted. The opposition-nominated commissioners on the Elections Commission are now claiming that elections could be held by late November. The Commission Secretariat had proposed a November date back in March, and it was declared unacceptable then by some of the same commissioners. Government-nominated Commissioner at GCOM, Vincent Alexander, has said that the March 2020 timeline is only a proposal and one that has to be reviewed by the Commission. He said there was nothing definite about that proposal when it was put forward by the GCOM Secretariat. The 7-year-old girl Shanaya Prasad, who was flown out of Guyana last week for overseas treatment of severe burns about her body, passed away yesterday at the hospital in Texas. Shanaya sustained the burn injuries when fire engulfed her Monripo home a few weeks ago. She was stabilized locally at the Georgetown Hospital before being flown to the U.S. through the Shia Foundation. The foundation announced her death last evening, indicating that her condition worsened yesterday, and despite the best efforts of her doctors to resuscitate her, she passed away. The child never regained full consciousness. The sod has been turned for the construction of a new 1823 Demerara Slave Revolt monument at the parade ground on Carmichael Street here in Georgetown. The sod turning ceremony took place yesterday and will see the memorial being relocated from its current site to the parade ground site, which is more historical. The rebellion, which took place on the 18th of August 1823, was led by slaves who were reacting to poor treatment and a desire for their freedom. Social Cohesion Minister Dr. George Norton.
As many of you may know, the period of the Demerara Revolt in 1823 resulted in the horrific deaths of more than 200 enslaved Africans and peoples of African descent. While we already have an 1823 monument erected along the Atlantic Avenue, His Excellency President David Granger felt it necessary to support the calls by historians and others for this particular location to bear some indication of the tragedies that occurred here consequent to that 1823 revolt.
Dr. Norton said the 1823 Demerara Slave Rebellion formed an integral part of Guyana's history.
The 1823 Demerara Revolt is an integral part of Guyana's, as well as the Caribbean's, colonial history, and it must not and should not be buried or go unmarked. The erection of a monument at this fitting location will honor the sufferings of our African foreparents, as it reminds us that the freedom we experience today came at an incalculable price.
A few years ago, under the former government, when the monument was being constructed along the seawalls, there was widespread condemnation over that move. A number of African groups protested against that move and said the parade ground was a more suitable place for the monument because of its historical value. Across the Region is coming up next.
Securing the best healthcare facility for you and your family is important. At Balmansingh Hospital, we take pride in giving you the best healthcare at unbeatable prices. We offer a 24-hour emergency care, a well-equipped ambulance, the best group of international doctors. Whatever your medical needs are, we are here to make sure you're taken care of like family. From eye care to dental service, the best, most experienced gynecologist, pediatric care, skin care, well-trained radiologist, and a trauma center. Our goal is to get you healthy so you can live a healthier life. Balmansingh Hospital, caring for you and your family by offering healthcare at unbeatable prices. Live, love, and enjoy life. Call 226-4279 or visit us at 314 East Street, Georgetown. Balmansingh, best healthcare at unbeatable prices.
Fuel it up and win! Let's divide! Fuel it up and win!
Yes! You heard right! Fuel up at Guy Oil $5,000 or more and enter to win! Tune in to Jumpstart on 94.1 FM Monday and Friday to receive your call to win big! Check Facebook for participating locations and more details.
Protect your fuel system, boy! High mileage and performance, boy! Fuel it up and win!
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Across the region right now, officials in the Bahamas have defended their response to Hurricane Dorian after it devastated parts of the island chain last week, killing at least 45 people. Residents on the Abaco Islands have accused the government of failing to provide assistance and prevent looting. Officials have denied covering up the number of deaths. The death toll is likely to rise as hundreds, possibly thousands of people are still missing. Some 70,000 people were in need of food and shelter, the United Nations said. Thousands of residents from the hardest hit areas in the Abacos have been sent to the country's capital of Nassau, where authorities say they may have to use tents or containers to house the victims. The Health Minister Dwayne Sands dismissed allegations that the government was covering up the number of victims, saying the priority was not to count the dead, but to search for the missing and provide assistance to those in need. Turning now to Jamaican politics, Dr. Peter Phillips on Saturday held on to the reins of the main opposition, People's National Party, when he defeated Peter Bunting in a challenge for the leadership of the party. The 69-year-old Phillips retained the leadership of the PNP by securing 1,427 votes to Bunting's 1,351. Almost 3,000 delegates were eligible to vote in the election. The General Secretary of the PNP, Julian Robinson, who announced the results, urged delegates to accept the results and work towards uniting the party. This is the third time that delegates are being called under the decided leadership contest involving Phillips. He lost on the last two occasions when he went up to former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller. Phillips, who took over the leadership of the party in 2017 following the party's defeat at the 2016 general election, had welcomed the challenge to his leadership by Bunting, saying that it augurs well for the party gearing up for the next general election, constitutionally due in 2021. And finally tonight, international news. The 5-week suspension of the British Parliament will begin later after MPs are expected to again reject government calls for a snap election. Opposition MPs confirmed they would not back the push for a 15th of October poll, insisting a law blocking a no-deal Brexit must be implemented first. Ministers have called the law lousy and said they would test to the limit what it required of them. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been warned he could face legal action for flouting it. At present, UK law states that the country will leave the EU on the 31st of October, regardless of whether a withdrawal deal has been agreed with Brussels or not. But the new legislation, which was granted royal assent on Monday, changes that and will force the Prime Minister to seek a delay to the 31st of January 2020, unless a deal or a no-deal exit is approved by MPs by the 19th of October. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.